Good afternoon and welcome to the Wake Up Retirement Show. I am your host, Marc Sarner, here with you every Saturday afternoon, talking to you about retirement. If you're already retired, getting ready to retire, the most critical aspects of retirement is the first 5 years before you retire and the 5 years after. It sets the foundation. It sets the tone for what's coming into the future. And I am your host, Marc Sarner, president of Wake Up Financial. You are listening to the Wake Up Retirement Show. We're on the air every Saturday at 1 o'clock, talking to you about these different issues: income, taxes, managing risk, doing all these things that matter most so that you have a efficient, quality retirement. And, now that taxes are done, we're in the first week of May talking about, all right, so now that that's done, how do I put myself in the best possible situation moving forward? A lot of people wonder, why do I pay so much in taxes? When people come to my workshops, they ask me questions about income, but the big thing is taxes. How do I reduce my tax liability? Why do I pay so much? And really, when you sit down with your tax professional, they are just reacting to what's happened over the past year. What you need to do is be proactive. Take a proactive approach. Believe it or not, you may think that your situation is entirely out of your control. The money you make is what you make. The mortgage interest is what you write off. You put so much in a 401k or an IRA, and the out comes a number. Well, you know what? There are things that you could potentially do to reduce your tax liability. If you're not working with a seasoned, experienced advisor who also has a CPA component to do mock tax returns so that you can see how much you can save in taxes, not only today, but also into the future, you'll want to give us a call. Our operators are standing by to get you some information on how to reduce your income taxes, not for this past year, but for future years moving on. And our toll-free number is 855-920-7233. That's 855-920-7233. We have a guide for the first 10 callers that if you have income over $125,000 a year, we'll give you this guide. It was really designed for someone in that area. So if you give for the first 10 people that call, you'll get this guide. It'll really help you out as far as reducing your tax liability. And that number again, 855-920-7233. That's 855-920-7233. Or you can find us on the World Wide Web, wakeupretirement.net. There's a wealth of information there, some other information that you might be able to find beneficial. So I also want to take this moment to thank our sponsor, Kilter Termite and Pest Control, your termite and pest control leader in the North San Diego area. They are excellent at what they do, been doing it for 20 years, guarantee their work. I had a friend of mine that went out, made the phone call, a professional came to their home and found that there were no termite problems, and they shook hands, parted ways, and no bill was asked for. It's nice to know, to double check, to make sure that there is not a problem brewing. You're going to give them a call at 858-371-2928. That's 858-371-2928. That's Kilter Termite and Pest Control, your termite and pest control leader. And today we're going to talk, we have a great show planned for you today. We are going to talk to you about the future. We're going to talk to you, and I don't have a crystal ball. Although I am in my office, and I do have a crystal ball in my office, but it doesn't work as far as forecasting the future. When we talk about the future, we're talking about the future of the markets, future and how it's going to affect your retirement. We really can't predict what's going to happen. It's out of our control. And that's a good thing for, say, my son who's 18, in college. Markets go down, that's a good thing for him because he can dollar cost average. He could put more money away at a cheaper price. He could buy more shares at a cheaper price. For someone that is 55 to 60 and have all of their investable assets in high risk or growth funds, may not make the best sense. So you want to take a look at, well, how do I make sure that I avoid some of these violent swings that are in the markets? What does it mean? And how do I protect my nest egg? Back in 2008, when the markets went down 43% in 1 year, what happened is people actually had to go back to work. It coined the term unretire. If you've never heard the term unretire, these were people that had to go back to work. These were people that retired thinking that they had enough based on income versus expenses. They took 4%. They used the 4% rule to determine whether or not they could retire. So they took 4% of their total net worth in their investable assets and say, you know what, it's time to retire. I can finally do it. And you know what? '08 came around, the markets went tumbling down, they still extracted the 4%. So finally they went in and took a look at their situation. They had to unretire. These are people that went back to work not by choice, but because of necessity. So you want to avoid these types of pitfalls and mistakes by being proactive. And the first step is you're doing is you're actually listening to the show. This is a proactive activity. What you have in front of you is information that can help you in gathering a wealth of information to determine how it can benefit you. Studies have shown that those that actually listen to these shows and go to educational workshops have a higher quality of retirement. Imagine that. Those that go to school have a higher chance of graduating and getting a better job than someone who does not. So it's the same type of philosophy. You are sitting here learning, getting educated. Now it's time to take the next step and find out, all right, so looking at your situation, do you have a plan? Are you working with a seasoned, experienced advisor, someone that's been through some of these swings in the markets? Do you have a plan for income? What about a plan for Social Security? What's the best for you and your family as far as when's the best time to take Social Security benefits? What about inflation? Inflation, what is that? It's about 2.5%. Why do I have to worry about inflation? Well, there's a lot to worry about in regards with inflation. So hopefully you're working with someone that can help you design a well thought out withdrawal strategy and using different investments to create income and have an emergency fund for unexpected costs, and also reevaluate your plan on a quarterly basis. Folks, the markets can change in a quarter. They can change in a month. They can change in a day. This is not like something, well, I talk to my advisor once a year or once, every once in a while I get a newsletter, something like this. You want to make sure that you have a proactive approach, especially in today's volatile markets. The markets are up 200% over the last 7 or 8 years. You think it's going to continue to rise on a steady basis? There's going to be swings. So, and there's going to be a correction, and we all know that's on the horizon. The question is when, and are you prepared? So what you want to do is get an analysis of your situation, whether it's me or someone else. You want to actually have someone take a look to see if you are in the best possible situation to brace a storm. To think that it's not going to happen and then be surprised when it does is not very prudent. So what you want to do is go to our website, wakeupretirement.net, or go to give us a call. Our operators are standing by. We have some information for you. 855-920-7233. That's 855-920-7233. And you are listening to the Wake Up Retirement Show, and I am your host, Marc Sarner, here with you every Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock, talking to you about what you can do to improve your situation. A lot of people, the biggest thing I find when people come to my educational workshops is they just don't know where to go, who to trust, who to have answer questions. Everybody kind of says one thing, another person says another, and so there's some conflicting information out there, and somebody's trying to sell me something, and where do I go? What do I do? That's just a fact of today's economy. There are people out there that are just trying to sell you products and services, and that's fine. But how does it fit into your parameters? How does it fit into your goals? What is it about your situation that you need a solution to? My clients, I've been doing this now for 20 years. People are retiring. I get calls every week from people saying, Mark, it's time for start extracting money from my portfolio. I'm retiring next week. What do I do? What forms do I need to fill out? How long will it take for me to get my first check? These are all very interesting questions that need answers to. I mean, that's what you work so hard for, is to be in this situation where, like, now you get to do the things that you want to do. There's a retirement income guide. For those of you that are listening to the show, the first 10 callers will get a retirement income guide. Talks about when is the best time to extract income, when's the best time to take Social Security. So we have a couple of different guides for you. Operators are standing by only for the show. So you want to give us a call, toll free, 855-920-7233. That's 855-920-7233. Or you can find us on the web at wakeupretirement.net. And it'll get you some information about that we are discussing today. So in the second half of our show here, we're going to talk about some things to be aware of moving forward, talking about taxes and planning and moving forward into this year, 2016. What is the best course of action for you? So why don't you refresh your beverage, take a minute. We'll be right back after these words. And we're back. Welcome to the Wake Up Retirement Show. I am your host, Marc Sarner, talking to you about these different areas of retirement. We're talking about income, taxes, managing risk. We're talking about the things that matter most to you, your money that you've accumulated. It allows you the freedom to do the things that you want to do. Now that you are getting ready to retire, already retired, you want to make sure that you're in the best possible situation moving forward. That's why you're listening to shows like ours, is to find out, because what we do every single week is we talk about the different things that are going on, things that you can do. We can't control what's going on out in the world, whether it's the price discovery or the Fed or China or massive late-day sell orders or computers or technology breakdowns or anything to do with outside of our control. All we can do is control what we can control with regards to your investments. That is being prudent about investment strategies, given your goals and your objectives. Someone who is 35 years old, their goals and objectives are much different than someone that is 55 to 65 years old. So you want to make sure that we are looking at your positions as far as putting you in the best possible situation. You want to look out for rebalancing your investments, setting aside emergency cash, plan for healthcare expenses. By the way, when we talk about healthcare expenses, this is one area where inflation is a problem. Cost of living is regarding inflation. The healthcare industry is an inflation problem. Costs of healthcare are rising. I don't recommend everybody run out and buy a long-term care policy. Then what you need to do is take a look at these different things to determine what you can do. Consider different investments. Consider the volatility to your portfolio when you are retiring is all a factor. De-risk is part of the equation. So as we get closer to retirement, we want to start de-risk because we're going to need to supplement your income with Social Security to design income that will last through your lifetime. How do we know how long you're going to live? We don't, but what we can do is take a look at your past family background, your health, any major medical, these types of things are all part of strategies that you want to work with a seasoned advisor on. And you are listening to the Wake Up Retirement Show. I'm your host, Marc Sarner, talking to you about all these different issues regarding your retirement, regarding everything that you've worked so hard for. That's why you've saved. You are very good about making sure that you contributed to your company 401k plan, because there's matching going on. Folks, if you're not doing that, you want to make sure that you are contributing. If there's free money involved, you want to take advantage of it. On the same token, if you are working and you don't have a company match plan, you want to take a look at Roth IRA solutions. Maybe you can only put away $500 a month for your retirement. You want to do it. How do you do it? You could do it on a weekly basis. It's important that you actually save for your future, save for your retirement, so that it gives you the ability to do what you want to do, see the things you want to do. My wife wants to go to Rome, Italy. Well, she's not going to go unless we have money. You are not going to be able to do the things that you want to do if you don't have the money to do it. That's obvious. But how do you get there? You want to design something that is something you can stick with, someone you can work with, something that you can actually monitor on a quarterly basis to make sure that these numbers all add up. You know, folks, I have people that come and see me and they're excited about retirement because they've saved for it. They can't wait for it. You know, my clients that are 70, they say, you know what, Mark, I've got 10 good years where I can go and travel and see the things that I want to see because I've always dreamed that one day I'd be able to do it. Well, now they can do it, because they were very prudent about being efficient, tax efficient, rebalancing, taking a look at their situation, making sure they're not too heavy in one area over another. What we find is a lot of people invest in the same types of funds. For the husband, the wife, they kind of double down, so to speak, because they heard that, well, these funds are good, so all of our money should be in all of these funds, yet the purpose of diversification is to have more than one fund that actually doesn't coincide, doesn't work on the same plane. So they want to make sure that it is properly balanced, so that if the markets go up, they both don't go up at the equal amount, because when the markets go down, they go down the same equal amount. So the purpose of diversification is to balance each other out. And that is why you want to get a second opinion on your situation. We offer this free of charge. We enable people to, this is a safe place for people to call, to email, to get our information, because the goal of this show is for you to become a better, more informed consumer. We don't work with everyone that calls into the show. We do help people that have questions. So you want to give us a call toll free, 855-920-7233. That's 855-920-7233. And you are listening to the Wake Up Retirement Show. And I am your host, Marc Sarner, here with you every Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. I want to thank our sponsor again, Kilter Termite and Pest Control, the termite and pest control leader in the North San Diego area. They've been doing this for 20 years, folks. So if you have a pest problem, or you're not sure if you have a pest problem, or if you have a home and you haven't had your termite inspected to see if you have any termite problems, you can call toll free 858-371-2928. That is 858-371-2928. That is Kilter Termite and Pest Control. So, getting back to our goals of what we're trying to accomplish here is your money. We want to take a look at your situation to see if you're on track. Are you on track? How are you invested? What is your position on your goals? What is it that we are investing for? Are we investing to keep up with inflation, or are we not investing at all? Maybe we have all of our cash in cash, and the reason being is we don't want to lose it. Well, folks, if we're not investing, we're losing it anyway due to inflation. There are investment strategies that are out there where you can keep up with inflation, where if the CDs are now paying about 1%, folks, you can get about 3 to 4 to 5% a year on very safe investment vehicles. If safety is important to you, there are these types of investments out there that are not suitable for everyone. It really depends on what your situation is, but your principal is guaranteed. And you want to watch out for people that are selling annuities out there. There are a lot of workshops out there, people selling products, including annuities or life insurance or, index universal life plans where they pull out the income tax-free from a life insurance policy. You want to make sure that you are careful. You want to make sure that you get all the facts. There's a lot of annuities that are out there where they have caps on the growth. So when the markets make 10, you get 3. When the markets go up 6, you get 3. That's not necessarily for your benefit, but it does protect you from the downside. So there are a lot of negative issues with regards to these types of accounts. You want to make sure if you have one of these, you have an annuity, you could refinance or do something called a 1035 exchange where you can go from one plan to another. You want to make sure you don't jump out of the fire into the frying pan. So you want to make sure you are going from one poor performing account to a higher quality account. So it's uncapped strategies that can keep up with inflation. Folks, there are actual accounts right now that are up about 4.5% for the year. And it's an uncapped strategy. So you want to take a look at what's available, principal being guaranteed. If you don't use the money, all of it goes to your beneficiaries. There are different types of strategies that are out there, and you want to make sure you're getting into the best one possible for you and your family. There's a lot of moving parts with a lot of these different products. There's a lot of people that are offering these products for sale at educational workshops. That's a big concern is you don't want to buy anything at one of these seminars. You don't want to buy anything at one of these educational events. It strictly should be for educational purposes only, so that you could actually learn what is happening to your situation with the world. How does it all work? Most important for you is your family. You, your spouse, your income, providing for your family, sustainability isn't critical. Making sure that you don't run out of money. That is the number one concern for a lot of people, is making sure that they do not run out of money. That what's going to happen with your pension? How is your pension positioned upon your passing? You have 100% benefit to your spouse, 50%. What's going to happen? Because there's a real statistic out there that for 7 out of 10 women will face poverty at some point during retirement as a widow. Reason being is income goes down, exemptions go down, costs go up, cost of living on the rise. But because now they're filing single, they don't get the same benefit as filing married. So now with filing single, more of their Social Security is subject to taxation. And we talk a lot about this at the workshop. We do have some information for you online. You can go to our website at wakeupretirement.net. Really get some information with regards to what you can do moving forward in retirement and prepare for that reduced Social Security benefit upon losing a spouse. And you can call us at the 855-920-7233. That's 855-920-7233. You are listening to the Wake Up Retirement Show, and I am your host, Marc Sarner, talking to you about these areas. I want to thank our sponsor, Kilter Termite and Pest Control, the termite and pest control leader in the North San Diego area. They have a great offer for you. There's a discount involved. You just got to mention our show, Wake Up Retirement, and they will benefit by receiving the call. They'll come and see you, give you an evaluation, find out what your pest and termite needs are. Give them a call at 858-371-2928. They've been doing it for 20 years, and we will talk to you next week. Have a great weekend, folks.